What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Grappling Bulletin. I'll be your host today. My name is Chase Smith. Joining me, Corey Stockton. Once again, Hal Teague is out. He's back in the office, but he's catching up on things, leaving the two of us to take care of a very, very busy Grappling Bulletin episode. So to kick things off, we're going to briefly discuss some of the biggest headlines from this past weekend and this morning, and then jump right into what's going to be a mega event preview episode because over the next 6 weeks, Corey, we have like 7 different insane events. That's before the IBJJF World Championship. So very busy period, lots going on, and we're going to get into all that stuff. But first, let's discuss Fight to Win because that was insane. Tamara Ferreira submitted Liz Clay in what was Liz's first submission loss as a black belt ever, Corey.
Yeah, Liz Clay may be one of the most well-recognized leg lockers of any female competitor out there. But Tamara Ferreira's leg locks are unstoppable. They're fierce. They're mean. And she really got a great hold of Liz Clay's foot and it looked like she was trying to break it off.
It looked nasty, definitely. Hope Liz is okay from that. And congratulations to Tamara for claiming the Fight to Win strap. Also, big news this morning. A little unexpected, I'd say, for everybody. Andre Galvao announced that he is returning to MMA, or that he just signed a contract, rather. No word of which contract. He's asking you to guess, if you look at his IG, or when he intends to return into the ring or the cage. But interesting development there, especially considering we are less than 12 months out from ADCC. I wonder what will come of that. Very curious and looking forward to seeing more. Corey, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, Andre is looking like his jiu-jitsu career is slowing down, right? But he's retired in MMA up until apparently recently. He was undefeated. But yeah, excited to see kind of what this news holds. There's no real news here yet, but I'm excited to see what.
Well, he did suffer that pretty brutal loss to Tyron Woodley.
That's right. Yeah.
In any case, interesting stuff there. But that sort of takes us through the news because now we got to look ahead because otherwise we're going to really fall behind as far as the event preview stuff is going to go. So strap in. We're getting locked and loaded here. Kicking things off, we're going to talk about ADCC trials. That goes down this weekend. It's the East Coast trials, the first of the North American trials. This one is being headed up by Tom DeBlas and Mo Jassim. They've been working hard because this event is insane. Over 800 competitors. The average division size is over 200 people. And to help keep you organized, the viewer at home, we're going to also take you through Arena. So for those of you that have never had the chance to use Flow Arena, and Tyler, we can run this clip here. Arena is our software for bracketing and results. We don't get to use it at every event, but when we do, it's an amazing asset. So you can find that by looking at the top of the homepage there. I believe it's best viewed on your desktop or laptop, tablet. Not so much the apps. But in any case, you can find the results and the brackets here for any of the events in the past. We're going to go through the European trials real quickly here and just show you kind of what it looks like. So this is the bracket, and you can select the divisions, men or women, as well as the weight class there kind of at the top. And in real time, those brackets will be updated. So, of course, this event's already over, so the bracket is completed. But at trials this weekend, you will start with your opening rounds and move forward into the finals. And if you click on any of those play buttons there, it will take you to the replay of that match. And that should populate close to automatically as soon as that match is over, and give you a really easy way to kind of follow your way through the bracket. You can also set up things like competitor alerts that will give you like a text notification on your phone or the app when your favorite athlete competes. So go ahead and dive in. I know Arena isn't utilized all the time, and I wish it could be, but for ADCC and all the trials events and worlds, it will be in play. And I hope you guys get to use it. I know I love it. If I'm not at an event, it is fantastic. So go ahead and check it out. That is called Flow Arena. You can find it on the homepage. And yeah, I highly recommend you make use of that because it's the best way to sort of keep track of what went down. But with that said, now let's talk about some of the talent. So Corey, This, as we know, was a pretty exciting period because for the first time ever in trials history, we got an early look at some of the names coming to this event.
Yeah, and it's not just a big event, right? This is a historically big event. This is the biggest event in the history of ADCC trials, and of course, some of the heavy hitters are coming out to this one. We looked a little bit at 66 last time we spoke here. But I mean, top to bottom, they're really like some of the competitors who've been excelling this year. Let's talk about maybe Jacob Couch, Cade Rotolo, Cole Abate.
Yeah.
Just to start.
Absolutely. And I think we have a clip here we could run sort of showing us some of these names, but we're going to get into the nitty gritty of all of them. Here we're looking at a variety of athletes. But like you said, Cade Rotolo, Jacob Couch, Cole Abate, Devonte Johnson, recent Nogi Worlds winner. Brianna St. Marie, of course, with the incredible debut there, who's number 1, as well as basically winning everything so far. I mean, she's Combat Worlds Champion, Medusa Champ, Nogi Worlds Champ, and Absolute, I want to say. Incredible stuff. But here, I think the athlete I may be most excited for is Cade Rotolo. He'll be in at 77 kilograms. And there's over, I want to say, 200 people in that division, Corey.
Yeah, that division is right up against 200. 77, I think, is 215.
Wow, that's incredible.
Which means, we're looking at most of the athletes are going to need 7 to 8 rounds to get to the final. It's probably going to be 4 matches over each day.
That is really, really demanding and grueling. And you have to think that the person that comes out on top from
manages to get his leg out of danger and is now in a better position.
Right? It has so much confidence. Here we have Jacob Couch. He'll be in at 88. Of course, coming off of a couple incredible performances so far this fall. We had his bronze medal performance here at the WNO Championships, kicking that off with this big submission win over Roberto Jimenez. Also took home gold in the Nogi World Championships in his division. So Jacob Couch, definitely someone to keep the lookout for. I also, in his division, we've got Elder Cruz, right? So that's going to be interesting stuff there too.
And Elder's been a little bit of Jacob Couch's bane, right? He seems to have Couch's number, especially in a tournament like ADCC Trials, which is so wrestling based. I think this could go a lot of different ways. We could see just a brand new kind of iteration of this rivalry, or we could see Elder do what Elder's been doing to Couch.
Yeah, exactly. And again, there could be many matches in between their meeting here at ADCC Trials should it come to fruition, given the fact and the size of that division. One more here from Jacob Couch. This was just from Nogi Worlds, and you can see why he's such a favorite of finishing style. Really, really brutal tactician and someone to keep a lookout for at Trials.
Well, one other thing about this particular trials that I think is worth pointing out is how many returning champions are coming back. We can talk about that in a second because I really do want to get to Cole Abate here, who is 16 years old and making his ADCC trials debut.
Yeah. Cole, of course, had this phenomenal performance at the WNO Championships. Just kicked things off there with a big win over Gio Martinez. Gio himself, an ADCC vet, very, very well rounded athlete. And Cole kind of really dictated the pace throughout this entire match, and I think opened a lot of people's eyes that he's going to be a real threat. At 66, despite his young years, he's definitely going to be one of the strongest, most physical competitors, and I think he stands a great shot of really maybe winning the whole thing. But it's a tough division. They're all tough. But.
Yeah, he's in this division kind of full of veterans, guys like Junior Ocasio, Gianni Grippo, Keith Recordian, and a lot of up-and-coming guys too, Damian Anderson, Esteban Martinez. So he's...
What's your ideal matchup from those names that we know so far for Cole? What do you want to see?
I really want to see him against Keith. I think Keith has shown time and time again that he's such a... he's so prepared for this rule set, and I think it's the biggest challenge for Cole, but that's what we want to see from Cole Abate. Cole has shown us before that he can live up to this challenge. We want to see it again and again for him. I
agree. We also, as we're seeing here, have Devonte Johnson coming off that big performance at Nogi Worlds. There we see him submitting Felipe Andrew, and then kicking it right over to Brianna St. Marie. Now, she is definitely someone that flies a bit under the radar, but anyone that really pays attention to the color belts will know that she is a finisher, very, very aggressive, well-rounded athlete as well. And Of course, this event, the East Coast Trials, is a bit different for the women, where they actually will not claim a spot at the World should they win. They only get one chance of that, and that's going to be at the second trials, the West Coast Trials. However, Tanda Blas has offered to fly out any of the champs, if they want to the West Coast Trials on his dime and pay for their entrance fees and stuff like that. So that's really cool of Tom to give a little love there and some more opportunities. But
yeah, and with there really being no grand prize in this event, good on the women who are taking this opportunity to A, have that shot at a free trip to the West Coast Trials, and B, get the experience, because experience in this rule set is so important for these competitors. Which kind of brings me to one thing I wanted to talk about with there's so many competitors that are registered again for ADCC Trials, having already won it or done very well in it. We look at guys like John Salter, Alec Balding, Mason Fowler, Kat Zingano. There's a lot of competitors that are coming back that are already ADCC Trials champions, right?
Sure, and the rules are so unique, they're complicated, and they're also just grueling, right? It forces a kind of match that I think if an athlete has never competed under the format, a lot of them come out surprised, right? It's a common thing that I remember from past interviews. Like, I knew ADCC was tough, but I have never been this tired, right? I've never been this drained from a match or from an event, from a weekend. So I think it's no surprise that some of these vets think that they might have another strong shot at winning. And I mean, you have John Combs in there as well, right? 77, another standout from trials in the past. And some interesting matches in 77, right? Yeah, like we've said, we have William Tackett, Combs, John Satava, PJ Barch is someone that I'm going to be very, very closely watching at trials. Also, Cody Steele is set to be in that division. And what's insane to me is those are just the names that were cleared to release, but there's so many others that can mix things up. And some of the athletes that we might not even know that well have a strong shot at taking out massive players in our sport, elevating their own brand, their prestige to a much higher level. So this is really going to be, I think, a transformative event in many different ways.
That's one thing that's always, I think, the most exciting thing about watching trials is that there's going to be these big, high-profile athletes in there, but it's sometimes the athletes we don't know as well, that don't get as much love, that end up winning trials and really making a name for themselves. That's
right. So you can watch that this weekend. That's going to be November 6th and 7th on FloGrappling. Check it out on the app. And also, don't forget, check out Arena. Use it. It's a fantastic asset to have and should be very valuable to those at home that can't be there at the event. But that's not the only event we have live on FloGrappling this weekend. BJJ Stars 7 is going down. And after a couple different changes, the main event is really shaped up to be something pretty interesting. We've got Gilbert Burns versus Lucas Hulk Barbosa. And I think we've got a clip for that here, Tyler, if you want to run it. Corey, what do you like about Hulk versus Dorino here?
I love this match. Dorino is a veteran, right, and a UFC veteran at this point, and Hulk has been kind of eyeing his own MMA runs. This, I think, for me, just is a great way for Hulk to kind of flex his ability to move into that sphere, especially given how great he's looked recently. He's been looking a lot more submission heavy recently, as we saw here. He took out Leandro Lo earlier this year.
Yeah, Hulk's been on a tear. Always been a really entertaining athlete, but like you said, been turning it up this year. And his intention to move to MMA is very interesting. We've also seen him slim down just a little bit, right? He's still, of course, a freak of nature, but I feel like he's looking to maybe eye a little bit lower weight class at MMA than he would in grappling. Gilbert Burns is someone, though, that you cannot count out in any format. One of the most active combat sports athletes on the planet today. UFC title contender. Just a few weeks later, going after a W&O here with that big performance and win over Rafael Lovato Jr. Dorino, really amazing grappling and jiu-jitsu pedigree, and of course is translated quite nicely into mixed martial arts and one of the best there is today. So I'm excited for that main event, but it's a fantastic card. There are a lot of great super fights. We also have Leo Vieira is going back to compete in Brazil, I want to say for the first time since 2003. He's of course been active since then, but not in his home of Brazil, or where he's from. He's of course based in Long Beach now, but he's taken on Kleber Luciano, another vet that's based in the U.S. now, but a long career, done really well actually as a Masters competitor, and I think that's going to be a fantastic match. That's a gi match. Looking forward to that. We've got Josh Hinger taking on an old rival in Luis Marquez. For us here stateside, I didn't know Luis very well, but he submitted Josh Hinger at Masters Worlds in their final in 2019, relatively in short order, Corey. I want to say it was 2 minutes. Do you think Josh Hinger wants that back?
Of course he wants that back.
Yeah.
You know Josh will hold that until the day he gets it back. So I think we're in for a good match here.
A couple other up-and-comers that are on the card. We've got Tynan Dalpro versus Gualberto there.
Yeah,
so
Lucas Gualberto from Dream Art. That's a fun matchup. I think the two of them are really on a collision course. They've both been winning just about everything. And
then we got Mayram Alves versus Thiago Barros. A bit of a clash of generations, that one. Mayram being a new black belt, Thiago being a veteran of the sport. I'm a big fan of Mayram and Thiago, both very aggressive athletes, and that is a standout card. Also, on BJJ Star 7, we've got Tanquinho and versus Bruno Forzato. AJ Agazarm is on the card. Whole bunch of stuff there. You guys can watch it live this Saturday. I'll be on the call. I'm the only member of the FloGrappling team that's not going to be at trials because someone's got to stay behind and do BJJ Stars, and I'm happy to do that. So that should be fun. Action starts 8 p.m. local time in Brazil, in Rio, I believe. And I will be here at 6 p.m. Central Time kicking off the call. So that should be pretty fun. Stay tuned for that. Moving right along, like I said, it's a busy week. Less than just a full week later, we've got Masters Worlds. That kicks off on Thursday next week, and it is going to be a phenomenal event, Corey. Why is Masters Worlds so fun?
It's right around the corner already, but it's this opportunity to see, adult competitors of maybe just a couple years ago going back at it in the Masters division against sometimes fans or former fans that runs from black belt from Masters 1 all the way down to Masters 5, Masters 6, where we get to see legends like, I'm going to say it, Megaton Diaz, right, has been competing at Masters Worlds every year for as long as I can remember.
And Worlds. He signed up for Worlds already, which is awesome. Yeah, Megaton's a legend, and he'll be there. And like you said, it is it's always interesting to see who makes the jump into Masters. And we have a bunch of new names, and one of them being Paulo Miao. So we got a clip of Paulo here. Of course, one of the most well-known athletes in our sport. Him and his brother Joao have been relatively active in the Masters divisions. Paulo doing both, with Joao mostly staying in the Masters brackets this year. They should be strong favorites for their category there. And some other names that jump out, though, include people like Samir Chantry is going to be in there. Gilson Nunes, who's been a Masters competitor for a little while. Really, I think, a little bit underrated. Fantastic triangle submissions there. Really dynamic competitor. Sergio Rios is going to be on the card. In the tournament. We have Nate Mendelsohn. I don't know if this is his Masters debut, but it surely is one of the first times that I know of. Don Bell from Atos is also going to be there in the Masters divisions. And, of course, so many more, right? It's one of the biggest and toughest Masters tournaments in the world, hence Masters Worlds. It's going over 4 days of coverage. There's 20 mats, and you can watch all that stuff on FloGrappling. So if you have your friends or family that want to watch your matches, if you're going to Masters Worlds, you got to point them our way because we have your stuff, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of, I think, all of our matches on there, right? And
don't look for mine.
It's a great place to keep your stuff to go back and study later, or to go back and show friends and family later, for any Masters tournament, but especially Masters Worlds. And whether you're competing against, in a bracket where you're winning, or in a bracket where, hey, I have this match against Joao Miao, like, might never happen again, right? It's a great way to kind of save some valuable material for yourself to study or share around later.
Yeah, so you guys can check that all out on FloGrappling.com and the app and everywhere else. We'll also be on the ground doing a bunch of coverage. It's great to meet up with not only some of the guys that are competing that weekend, but all the coaches that are going to be there. We usually get a lot of valuable insights into how people maintain high levels of activity and competition well into their Masters career, like Masters 3, 4, 5, and so on. And it's really a wealth of knowledge. There's some seminars going down too, so if you guys are going to the event, make sure to sign up for those or catch those. It's always a pretty cool event. All encapsulated in what's called Jiu-Jitsu Con, by the way. So that should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. And that, again, kicks off next Thursday, runs through Saturday. And also coincides there with the GP, right? And so the GP has been going through a bunch of changes, Corey, but we just got the finalized bracket today, and I want to make sure I have all the matches in order, so I'm pulling it up right now. But GP is always fun. They don't always run it at Masters Worlds, but they're doing it again this year. And the finalized middleweight bracket is going to be Otavio Souza versus Jonathan Gracie on one side of the bracket, and Tainan Dalpra versus Renato Canuto on the other side. They'll be competing for $20,000, and I mean that's high stakes matches right there for just 2 wins. $20,000. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah, it's a great bracket. A couple of veterans, a couple of newcomers, and really, I think the match I'm keeping my eyes on first is Tainan Dalpra, Renato Canuto.
That's a tough match, man. I'm super excited, and it's a great contrast of styles, right? Tainan's a little bit closed off, very dynamic passing, but a little more pressure oriented than Renato Canuto. Curious to see who ends up on bottom first in that match. I feel like both would prefer to be on top. I agree, that's a banger, as well as Otavio Souza, veteran of the game, multiple-time world champion, pan champion, taking on Jonathan Gracie, who is still relatively young into his black belt career and looking to, I mean, a win over Otavio would be a great feather in his cap. So that's an awesome bracket.
This, of course, one of 2 GPs coming up. The heavyweight Grand Prix is still kind of in the works. We're still waiting on the final list of names to be released. But it's going to be a heavyweight Grand Prix on top of this already announced middleweight Grand Prix.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We will announce that bracket when we have it. And it's looking like that will be on that Saturday, November 13th. That's at least when the middleweight bracket has been officially scheduled. But we'll let you know about the heavyweight when we find out. Moving right along, though, because things are still moving ahead. So we have a new show coming out of the UK. It's going to go down in London called Raw Grappling. And Raw Grappling is shaping up to be a very, very exciting event. It's a stacked GP as well as some super fights. That's set to go down in London. Let me double check the date here real quick. Where are we, Corey? November 14th. And they've been putting out some incredible promo footage here. Let's go ahead and run what they've sent us first. We got Gerard Lubinsky talking about some of his training, and then we'll go straight into a household name here, Adam Warzinski, talking about the event as well. Tyler, go ahead and run these clips when you can.
I feel I'm bigger than he is. I might be stronger than he is. He has to watch out for the Polish power, and that's it. I used to do a lot of guard, a lot of lapel guard, but once I'm here in Poland, training with the Jan Błachowicz, where we do a lot of wrestling. Right now, I feel comfortable with all the positions. I'm the type of the fighter that likes a big stage. I like public, so I like all those stuff. This gives me like extra energy, so I'm excited for this.
I never worry too much about the audience, you know. Whenever I'm stepping on the mat, I'm in the zone, and I don't even hear the audience. I can't see the audience. The only focus is my opponent and the fight. My game for many years was oriented into getting into dominant position and dominant from there. It's always a plan. It's always a plan, and I'm always looking to that. And I think Lovato is kind of the same. His pressure is legendary, and everything depends, of course, on the dynamic of the fight. I like to feel the fight in the beginning. I'm not kind of like a wild guy jumping into the fight. I like to start slow. So Rafael is kind of the same with that, and I think we're both gonna look for like dominant positions, control well, and then look for submissions from those positions. Like thinking about it before the fight, I'm super excited, and it's a really nice venue, and it's gonna be great to put on a show in such a place. But on the other hand, I know that as soon as I'm gonna step on the mat, in my head is gonna be only that fight, and the whole surrounding doesn't play a role.
Gotta love it when you get sent some beautiful content like that. Those two videos pertain to the super fights on the card. We have Gerard Lubinsky taking on Lucas Hulk Barbosa, and we also have Adam Warzinski taking on Rafael Lovato Jr. Looking forward very much to those two fights, but the 8-man GP is also pretty exciting there, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely, and some very, very big players from the UK as well as from Brazil and the US. Specifically, I'm really tuning into Yuri Simoes and Patrick Gaudio.
Yeah, there are definitely some standout names in there. We also have Bradley Hill, Josh Hinger, as well as some UK standouts on that GP. That's very exciting stuff. That again goes down November 14th from London. So stay tuned, as we'll be putting out more content around that event as time draws near. Finally, taking us down to Grapple Fest, right? So Grapple Fest is another UK event. Really, really fun stuff. I think this is 7 or 8. They've done a few shows now.
This is 10.
Is it 10? Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys, but that's what happens when you start stacking up like that. And still on pace for some incredible matches. Corey, break down the card from the top of the card.
Main event, Dante Leon versus Oliver Tazza, which is a match. I'm surprised we have not seen this match already. Maybe we have, and I've judged it, but I can't remember having ever seen this match. It's a real clash of styles, right? Oliver Tazza being a lot more of a guard player, leg locker, but we've seen a lot more of his wrestling and his top game in the past, versus Dante Leon, who is very much kind of into the wrestling. He can play leg locks. He has a lot of other options, but really for me, a huge clash of styles, and that's one of 3 events that are really kind of headlining this card. The other 2, of course, being both the Rotolo brothers returning to Grapple Fest.
Yeah, we got Cade Rotolo versus Keith Recordian. That is a banger. And is that no? Because Keith is doing 66 at Trials, so we wouldn't see that match at Trials, but they'll both be at Trials this weekend. I'm a big fan of that match. That is for the 70-kilogram belt there at Grapple Fest, and then, as you mentioned, Ty Rotolo is taking on Nick Ronan at 77. That is a very, very tough match there. I'm excited for both of those, and I mean, Grapple Fest continues to really excel. Excited to see them back. It's the first show in a long time. And in general, I'm stoked to see a lot of high-level grappling competitions coming back to the UK, right? Things kind of had to slow down for a while, but now they're firing back with a force. Next big event we need to talk about a little bit here is, of course, Abu Dhabi World Pro. Abu Dhabi World Pro is back. That kicks off just in a couple weeks here, and again, very stacked, loaded with Brazilian talent. We've got Bia Mesquita is there. Patrick Gaudio is going to be there. The Muniz brothers, I believe, are going into town. We also have a lot of Europeans going, Adam Warzinski being one of them. I want to say Espen Mathiasen and Tommy Langacker are also going to be there. So definitely tune into that. That is going to be streaming live on Flow, and we'll be keeping up to date with all the major results there and the replays, so on and so forth. That is going to wrap us up today here on the Grappling Bulletin. And stay tuned for, of course, Trials. Please watch that this weekend, because it's going to kick off sort of this never-ending stream of Trials events, right? The European Trials 1 has already happened, but I feel like the East Coast Trials, for those of us based in North America, is like, okay, it's here. It's happening. And so that goes down this weekend. BJJ starts this weekend. Masters Worlds next week. Fight to Win is happening as well. So it's jam-packed, and we'll be there every step of the way. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.